I know you're at a place right now where you and your children's parent are not going to be together anymore, and you've got to determine, how often am I going to be with my children? What kind of schedule are we going to share on the holidays? How are we going to work out the week-to-week deals with getting the kids to school or whatever? We need to make a plan for you and your family that's going to be the most effective thing for your children so they have the least disruption in their little lives that they possibly can. Disruptions like divorces or breakups can be hard on everyone, but especially on kids. And so we want to make things as smooth as possible for them. And one of the best ways you can help your children through this difficult time is to work out a plan, either by agreement or through a court order with that other parent, to make sure that we know exactly where the kids are going to be and when. Some parents choose to share parenting time on a week-to-week basis. For some people, that's far too long without your kids, and you may stick in a weeknight visit for the non-custodial parent, or maybe you operate on like a 2 days, 2 days, and 3 days schedule where you're kind of changing all the time. Obviously, as your children get older, that much moving is difficult for them. There's a lot of things to take into consideration about the age of your children, the distance that you live from the other parent, the number of activities your kids are involved with, in sports, school, church, whatever it may be. Those kind of things all are going to come into play in determining what you might call a parenting plan for you and your other parent, okay? How we're going to spend time with your children, who's going to take care of the kids. And as we develop a plan for you, it's all those things that are going to come in to the consideration to determine what is best for you and your children. When parents are together, holidays aren't really a problem. Sure, you've got to see your parents, she's got to see her parents or whatever, but like your kids are going to be with y'all. Families don't stick together, and you do have to split up for whatever reason. Your children still deserve to see both parents, right? And both sides of the family. And so we've got to work out a way in your case, whether it's in a divorce or a custody battle, to make sure that your children are going to be able to see the people that love them, the people that they need to see as part of their family. Because those in-laws may not be your family anymore, but they're still your children's family. And so we need to work out a plan in your case to make sure the holidays are shared in a way that's fair to both you and to the other parent, but also is best for your kids. They need to see the family. They need to see your family and the other parent's family. As we work together to share holidays, we can work out an alteration where one year you've got them for Christmas morning. The next year, the other parent has them for Christmas morning. In a best case scenario, sometimes mom, stepdad, dad, stepmom, everybody gets together at one place for Christmas morning to see the children open gifts from Santa Claus. Every family is going to be different. Your situation may not be different, may be different than your neighbor's situation, and that's okay, because your kids are different, you as a parent are different, your situation that led you to not be with the other parent is different, okay? Everything is unique for you. I recognize that. And so as you're looking at the holidays, that's an important thing to keep in mind. But also, even just like special occasions, maybe this is your week to have the children with you, but there's a death in the other parent's family, or maybe they got a wedding or a family reunion or a funeral. I don't know. All these kind of things, the best thing you can do is to be common sense about your approach to how you're going to share time with your children with the other parent. Be fair. Think, if it was a death in my family, would it be important to me to have the children here with me? Obviously, it would be. Give that other parent some compassion. Even if you don't love them as a spouse or a partner anymore, you still can love and appreciate them as the other parent of your children. And you should take that into your thought process when you're looking at how you're going to share holidays and also family reunions, weddings, funerals, or any other special occasions. You have a divorce or custody order, and everything's laid out. Most of those are going to say, parents can vary from this however you want to. Really, you don't want the court micromanaging your time with your kids. Who really wants some judge in a black robe who doesn't know you, doesn't know your family or your kids' activities, to dictate everything about your schedule? Ideally, parents should be able to work together and determine how you're going to share time with your children. But if you have disagreements about that, that's why you have an order. As a default, you can always just say, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. We're just going to go by the order. That's why you have an order. That's why you should work together with the other parent or with the court to make sure the order is exactly what you want in the end, because ultimately, if y'all can't agree, that order is going to be what controls all the time you have with your children. So when you have disagreements, when you have things that you cannot come to a meeting of the minds on, know you've got an order. You can just revert back to that. And if things have changed in your life because it's been some time, or maybe situations are different now than when you divorced or when your custody order was entered by the court, you always can go back to court and ask the court to change that if it's in the kid's best interest right now. One of the most important lessons I learned as a parent is that things don't always go according to the plan. And you got to roll with punches. Schedules change, kids get sick, maybe a person loses a job. Things happen that are going to affect the way that you have to raise your children, especially when you have another parent involved or other people who are involved in the custody of your children. And so when things don't go according to the plan, you've got to say, okay, it's not happening. We got to be flexible here. Well, there are very flexible parenting schedules in divorces sometimes that basically say, we're going to visit as we can agree upon. But keep in mind, if y'all can agree, you probably wouldn't be in divorce court. And so I would recommend to you, you need a very detailed and specific schedule about your children, and very specific and detailed items about who's going to be responsible for this thing or for that thing. You want to be as detailed in your plan because, ideally then, after the divorce is over, when temperatures cool down and everybody's able to get along a little bit better, you may be able to agree and work to go outside of the plan, and that's fine if you can agree. But agreeing takes two people. Dictating by one party is not an agreement. You said, I'm going to do this with the kids, or them saying, you're not going to do that with the kids. That's not an agreement. That's why you have an order to go by. So absolutely, a detailed parenting plan or parenting schedule is super important for you. But if you can step back from that after things have cooled off a little bit and be flexible, that's going to be better for you. It's going to make a better working relationship between you and the other parent, because y'all may not be in a relationship anymore. Y'all may not be married to one another anymore, but you're still both parents to those children, and they deserve to see mom and dad work together for their best interest. When your life is changing and you need advice on how we can develop a plan for my children that's going to work for us and our family in this new environment we're living in right now, you need somebody who is experienced in building these plans along with you, who's representing clients all over the state in these kind of situations. Call us today because we'd love to help you develop the best plan for you and for your children.